So now we're going backwards. Antiderivative, aka integrating. So of course going backwards is going to look either like this. If I have 1 over u, I'll get back to the natural log. I have to put in absolute value because I can't take a logarithm of any number that's negative. So I'll always have to absolute value that. And of course, it's possible that I'll find that I have the derivative of u on top. This one will probably cause me to use u substitution. So we'll see what that looks like as we move along. Okay, so some guidelines for integration. Number 1, you have to memorize the list. They do not give you a formula sheet. So you have to know all the lists, everything about your integration formulas. Some of you have been struggling. And there are 2 different versions of lists. They're similar, that somebody created and I stole in the locker on school loop. Those would be useful to print out, at least one of them, so that you have it and you can start recapping all that you've learned. Okay, so then after I have memorized a list, which should hopefully be helpful, hopefully I'll recognize one of the integration formulas. And I'll find it in the problem I'm doing. In the integrand. In other words, the thing that I'm integrating. That's the fancy name for it. And so that would cause me, most likely, to use a u substitution in order to be able to do the integration. And then last, and it's going to be trial and error. Some will come to you faster than others. It's kind of like reducing fractions. 50 over 100, it's easier for you to reduce than, let's say, 51 over 21. You don't necessarily know what that is right away. So you just have to do a little bit of trial and error. So if no u substitution will work, then you're going to have to try and manipulate the integrand. And some ways that we've learned to do that are use a trig identity. Substitute in using one of your trig identities. For some of you, that is still a struggle. I can multiply by some form of 1, except I can't spell it. Multiply by some form of 1. Or I can add some form of 0. So these are the formulas that you should have memorized already. Your 6 different trig formulas, your power rule, and in this section, this chapter, your log rule. So we're going to add 4 more to this.